Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. In case you missed it, Battleground sucked last night. Nothing was really resolved. And tonight on Raw, we get more of the same. Raw, live tonight, Monday, October 7th, 2013, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I missed the first 15 minutes of this show, because I was playing GT Online, actually having fun. And I happened to glance over at the clock and I said, oh shit, Raw's on. So I had to stop what I was doing and turn on the show. And then I proceeded to be bored out of my mind for the next 3 hours. Well, 3.5, up until the main event. But we'll get there. Let's just take it from the top. I managed to find notes, of course, for the 15 minutes that I missed. I didn't miss much. The show apparently started with a recap of the end of Battleground. Big Show coming out, clocking everybody. And despite the fact that there was no official announcement, there was no bell, the match never officially ended. They just ended the pay-per-view. But they recap that. Stephanie's in the ring. She calls out the Big Show. She's pissed about what he did. She's yelling at him, being the self-absorbed cunt that she is. She wants Show to beg for forgiveness. He says he's not gonna do it. She yells at him some more. She slaps him. Big Show just smiles at her. She slaps him again. He keeps smiling at her. She keeps slapping him repeatedly now. He's still just smiling. Stephanie fires the Big Show. After all of that crap, whatever the fuck. He's escorted out of the building. She pisses off. They hype up the main event for the night, which is The Shield versus Cody Rhodes, Goldust, and Daniel Bryan. They cut to commercial. When they come back, they recap Big Show being fired. And they will recap this 2 or 3 more times during the rest of the show. But anyways, coming back from the commercial, Dolph Ziggler comes out. And Damien Sandow comes out, and we've got a rematch, the first of 3 that we're going to get this week. We get a rematch from Battleground, the kickoff, Ziggler and Sandow. This is about where I came in. It was right in the middle of this match. There was a commercial break, and Dolph, again, wins the match with a Faymaster. He doesn't hit the zigzag this time, and even though Sandow was supposedly injured last night, he didn't seem to be selling his knee, so it must have just been an owie that he recovered from like that, whatever. The way Ziggler managed to hit the Faymaster was actually kind of cool. If I remember right, Damien threw Ziggler into the ropes. Ziggler came back and went for that diving around into a schoolboy thing that Jericho does sometimes. He dives around into the schoolboy, but he lets Sandow out of it immediately, jumps up, grabs him by the head, plants him with the Faymaster. He covers him and he gets the win. So it was an interesting ending, but you're kind of making Sandow look like a complete jobber by having him lose to a signature rather than a finisher. And that statement's going to come up later. Just wait. After the match, they cut backstage to the office where Brad Maddox is with Stephanie. And Stephanie's bitching at him about the mess that he created last night. She even blamed him for the power outage. Bitch, that was the arena's problem, not Maddox. Whatever, she bitches at him. That's about all there is to this segment. They cut to commercial. When we come back, Alicia Fox's music hits. And I'm thinking, oh great, who is she jobbing to? Well, it's not just her. She comes out along with Rosa Mendez and Oksana. This is going to be a 6-diva train wreck, and that's exactly what it turns out to be. After the three of them get in the ring, Natalya's music hits, and she comes out with JoJo and Eva Marie, the two rookie divas who haven't had a match yet. Yeah, this match was a fucking train wreck. It was mostly Natalya for her team. Oksana, Rosa, and Fox all got into the match at one point. JoJo, I don't think, set foot in the ring. Eva Marie did. She promptly got her ass kicked and didn't sell a damn bit of it. Apparently she's been learning from John Cena in his school of not selling a fucking thing. But what ended up happening is I think Alicia Fox got put in the sharpshooter by Natalya. She tapped out. So Natalya, JoJo, and Eva Marie won. Train wreck. While Natalya, JoJo, and Eva Marie were celebrating, out comes Maddox onto the stage. And this was something I forgot to mention about that previous segment. The bitching that Stephanie was saying, she told him, you're going to go out there and you're going to apologize. And you're gonna, you're gonna tell us how you're gonna make up for all this bullshit, and whatever. But Maddox comes out on the stage, he apologizes, and he announces that for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view that we have coming up in like 2 or 3 weeks, the WWE title will be, hopefully finally decided, and there will be an undisputed champion. Hopefully. It's going to be, of course, Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton one more goddamn time in a Hell in a Cell match. And there's going to be a special guest referee. The special referee is going to be one of 3 candidates that we, the WWE Universe, are going to get to vote for on this stupid goddamn app. And he proceeds to introduce the first candidate, who turns out to be Booker T. Book comes out and he cuts a promo, and whoopty shit, I don't give a fuck. They say Los Matadores are going to have a matchup next, and they cut to commercial. When they come back, 3MB, yes, again, they're in the ring. But it's Jinder and Drew this time. Los Matadores come out with their stupid fucking midget bull. Like, ugh. Whatever. Tag match. It's a squash. The jobbers lose to the Matadors. They hit their Samoan drop slam finish and they get the win. After the match, Slater comes into the ring and he chases El Torito around. Gets tripped by Primo and Epico. And then El Torito goes up to the top rope, since he's actually a Mexican mini luchador. He goes up the top rope, he jumps off, and he gives Slater a big Hurricane Rana, which throws Slater out of the goddamn ring. So, again, you're jobbing to a midget now. Introduce yourself to the Chavo Guerrero treatment. Hopefully, Slater will be getting the same treatment, and he'll be gone in another 6 months. Hell, fire him now. Slater sucks. Keep McIntyre and Mahal. Those guys can go somewhere. Slater has no future. Anyways, they cut backstage to some random hallway where Curtis Axel, Ryback, and Heyman are walking apparently towards the ring. They're going to be coming out for a segment up next, and they cut to a commercial. When they come back, they recap Show being fired. Again. Axel, Ryback, and Heyman are already in the ring. Heyman starts talking. Blah, blah, blah. They show a pic from Battleground, which was the nut shot that Punk gave to Ryback, because Heyman was talking about Punk being a cheater because he used the nut shot to win. Punk comes out and talks. And I don't even really care much at this point. Ryback talks. And then all of a sudden, R-Truth's music hits. And he comes out on the stage, and he's looking at Punk, and he's like, hey, you want to go down there and fight the two of them? Because Truth and Axel still have beef, right? They go down to the ring, and all of a sudden we've got a referee, and I'm like, oh, okay, we've got us a tag match. Yeah, Ryback and Axel versus Punk and Truth. This match turned out to be decent. There was a commercial break during the match, and the finish of the match is Punk hits the go-to-sleep on Axel, and then Ryback comes in and eats a roundhouse from Punk. Punk tags in Truth. Truth comes in, hits the axe kick on Axel, and gets the win. So Punk and Truth win. Whatever. They hype up the Shield versus the Rhodes and Bryan match for later on, and they cut to another commercial. When they come back, Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, introduces our second option, or candidate for the guest referee, Bob Backlund. He comes out and he proceeds to cut a promo where all he does is scream. I couldn't even hardly understand what he was saying because he screamed every bit of it. Crazy son of a bitch. But whatever. He's our second candidate for the guest referee spot. Kofi Kingston comes out. And I'm like, okay, who is Kofi gonna job to? Randy Orton comes out. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's jobbing. And remember I said something about somebody losing to a signature rather than a finisher? Yeah, that would have been a little bit more applicable here. Kofi should not need to take an RKO from Randy Orton to lose. Kofi is a fucking jobber. The match was boring. There was a commercial break, Randy hits the RKO and wins. Who the fuck cares? After the match, Randy is celebrating. Bryan comes out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan comes out of nowhere and attacks Randy, beats the shit out of him, throws him over the commentator's table, jumps over it after him, keeps pounding on him. Referees and security road agents are coming down to try and break him up. Bryan keeps breaking free to keep wailing on Randy. Randy finally runs up the ramp and through the curtain to get away like the chicken shit bitch that he is. And they cut to another damn commercial. And when they come back, we're backstage where Vicky Guerrero, who was invited here by Triple H, they mentioned that earlier in the show. Vicky's backstage with some guy who's apologizing to her. I have no idea what the hell this was about. Alberto Del Rio comes up. And he says a bunch of shit. I don't care. And it seems like he's flirting with Vicky, saying that she's pretty and, you know, all these things. He gives her his scarf, his goofy little scarf that he has, and he walks away. Vicky kind of gives him the sideways glance, and then she smells the scarf, and then she just kind of drops it. I really don't know. What the fuck? Anyways, back out in the arena, our third option or candidate for the guest referee spot, Shawn Michaels. He comes out and talks. They cut to another commercial. When they come back, they're showing more pictures from the Battleground ending of Show clocking everybody and then leaving. And they also recap Show being fired from earlier again. Alberto Del Rio comes out. And then Vicky screams, "Excuse me!" And she comes out and she says, I'm going to introduce Del Rio's opponent for this match, because apparently that's what that previous segment with the two of them was about. Vicky introduces Ricardo Rodriguez as Del Rio's opponent for this match. Ricardo comes out really hesitantly, and he gets in the ring finally. And obviously we're going to have Del Rio versus Ricardo as a match. But before the match starts, Vicky cuts back in again and says, oh yeah, Alberto, by the way, your opponent at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view for the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be John Cena. Now, obviously, Del Rio is completely distracted by this. Ricardo comes from behind and gives one of the sloppiest roll-ups I've ever seen, rolls up Del Rio, and manages to get the damn 3 count. So Ricardo wins the match. He's jumping all over the place. He goes out of the ring. He jumps on top of the commentator's desk, and he's celebrating. Del Rio runs up behind him, sweeps his legs out from under him. Ricardo falls and smacks against the top of the desk and falls off. Del Rio proceeds to beat the ever-loving shit out of Ricardo, puts his arm in a chair, and stomps on it repeatedly. Apparently, Del Rio did the same thing to RVD last night. But he's stomping on it and whatever the fuck. The referees and security finally get Del Rio the hell off of Ricardo, and they're trying to help Ricardo. The commentators talk about, okay, it's now time for the app vote for the frickin' guest referee. You can vote, blah blah, commercial break. When we come back, they recap what just happened with Del Rio and Ricardo. And Zack Ryder is now in the ring. Jobber entrance, because he's a jobber. Fandango comes out. And he proceeds to dance all over Ryder's grave. The match wasn't all that long. The only note here is I like watching Ryder suffer. That's all I can really say. Johnny wins with the big guillotine leg drop. That's it. After the match, Jerry Lawler again is the one who announces the app vote results, and the winner and our guest referee for the Hell in a Cell match, who the fuck else? It's HBK. Yeah. You know, because all the matches that Shawn Michaels has refereed has gone so well. And not only that, but he's Triple H's best friend. So, you know, incoming screw job, I think. Who gives a fuck? They hype up the Shield versus Rhodes and Daniel Bryan match, and they cut to another commercial. When we come back, the Real Americans, Swagger and Cesaro and Coulter are in the ring, and thank God we don't get another boring Coulter promo. It's time for our second rematch from the pay-per-view of the night. Santino and Khali come out with Hornswoggle. Match. It sucked. Cesaro and Swagger win again after Cesaro swings Khali and pins him afterwards. After the match, Swagger grabs Hornswoggle on the outside of the ring, throws him into the ring, and Cesaro grabs him and swings him around, the stupid swing. Santino comes out of nowhere and hits the Cobra on Cesaro or whatever. Khali comes in and clobbers Swagger. They bail. So they basically make the save for Hornswoggle. What the fuck ever. They cut backstage where The Miz is walking through a hallway, apparently coming out for Miz TV, which is up next. And they cut to another commercial. When we come back, they recap Randy attacking Miz 3 weeks ago in front of Miz's parents. Miz is in the ring, time for Miz TV. He's about to start when all of a sudden, the Wyatt music, that dumb cutting bullshit. The lights go out and the whole deal, and the lights come back on. Harper and Rowan are in the ring. Miz scrambles out of the ring real quick because he doesn't want to get his ass kicked. But Wyatt, Bray, has his lard ass parked at the top of the ramp. And Miz is basically stuck between a rock and a hard place. Or in this case, a soft place. Harper and Rowan get out of the ring and try to come after Miz. Miz scrambles, has to kind of tussle with Bray a little bit, but he gets around him and he gets the hell out of there. shit segment. You know, it would have been fine if they just had Miz talk. Nope, you have to ruin it by having the Wyatts. Those guys are a fucking waste. I'm sorry. I said it last night. I'm going to say it again. I will continue to shit all over them until they are gone. Because they're not going to get better. I even heard some Husky Harris chants during this segment. Anyways, they cut backstage to the office once again. Stephanie and Maddox are there talking again. And then Triple H comes up. He's there finally. And there's more bitching at Maddox. You know, you screwed everything up last night. You screwed up everything up tonight. Whatever the fuck. Whatever. They cut back out to the arena and the Shield comes out. And then they cut to another commercial. It's finally time for the main event. So thank God I want to get this shit over with. After the commercial, they show a little thing to announce that we're going to have a rematch from Battleground for the Intercontinental title. Truth versus Axel on SmackDown. Whatever. Goldust music hits and he comes out. He gets down the ramp and then he waits and then Cody comes out. And then Bryan comes out. And it's looking like we're getting ready for the match. And then King of Kings hits. Triple H comes out. And he comes down and he sits in a chair next to the commentators. So guess where this is going? The match starts. It's going okay for a while. There was a commercial break. And then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. Everybody's jumping in the ring and everything. Bryan and Rollins were the legal men. Everybody gets taken out except for Bryan and Rollins. Bryan nails the big roundhouse on Rollins and then locks him in the yes lock. Before Rollins can tap out, they see Ambrose getting into the ring with a chair. And then there's Cody, and Ambrose jams Cody in the ribcage with the chair, and so the referee calls for the bell, DQ. But before Roberts can announce that the winners of the match by disqualification are Rhodes and Bryan, before he can say that, Triple H cuts him off and says, no. We're not going to have another bullshit finish like last night. I'm restarting this match as a no DQ match. All hell breaks loose again. Bryan ends up doing a suicide dive through the ropes to take out Ambrose and Reigns. And Bryan's over by the post on the floor. Yes! And then, hey, there's Randy. RKO's the fuck out of Bryan on the floor. Of course, Randy had to get his payback for earlier. Bryan gets rolled into the ring. Rollins covers him and gets the win. So the Shield wins. And Triple H looks like he's starting to leave. He goes over to the ramp and he kind of looks back and gives a little nod. The Shield guys jump back in and continue to attack Bryan, Cody, and Goldust. And then all of a sudden, the Big Show's music hits. He comes down to the ring. Triple H is pissing himself. He gets in the ring and he hides behind the Shield guys. Show finally makes his way down to the ring and he gets into the ring. He has to fight off the Shield. He fights them off. He's kind of staring down with Triple H. The Shield guys come back and they overwhelm him and they're stomping on him and they're stomping and kicking and whatever. Show fights back again, knocks them all off, and they all fall out of the ring. It's just him and Triple H in the ring now. And Triple H is shitting bricks. Big Show looks at him, big fucking smile, and he clocks Triple H right in his big stupid face. Triple H goes down in a heap, And it looks like Show really clocked him, because I saw the fist connect with his face. Ugh, that piece of shit went down hard, and it was great. This was about the only good part of this entire show. Trips is laying there out cold. Show gets out of the ring and he starts leaving. Bryan's back in the ring all of a sudden. And he's basically standing over Triple H. Yes! 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 And that's how the show ends. He's yes-yesing. And Show looks back one final time. He's smiling. He leaves. Show's over. This show was boring as all goddamn hell. I wish I had been playing GT Online this whole time. And if you don't mind, I'm going to get back to that. So, let me just recap once again. Ziggler vs. Sandow rematch from last night was a good match from what I saw of it. You had the clusterfuck with the Divas, who the hell cares? Jinder and Drew versus the Matadors was a squash, basically. Ryback and Axel versus Punk and Truth was decent. Kofi and Orton was boring. Del Rio versus Ricardo, can you even call that a match? It was a joke. Ryder versus Fandango, once again, I like watching Ryder suffer. And I like Johnny. So, as far as I'm concerned, he can tap dance all over Ryder's grave all day, and I wouldn't care. The Real Americans versus Santino and Khali was crap. And then the Shield versus Cody, Goldust, and Bryan was a complete clusterfuck. And the ending with Show clocking Triple H finally was about the only really good part of the show. So, once again, that was Raw from October 7th, 2013, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm out. I'm going back to playing GTA Online. Thank you and good night.